Honestly, Jake Paul, trash. Tommy Fury, trash.
Criticize you for going 6 rounds with Jake Paul. How do you feel about that?
I deserve it.
Gervonta Tank Davis reportedly laughed while reacting to Jake Paul's knockout loss against Anthony Joshua. Tank mocked Jake's punching technique, joking about the wide, looping shots and awkward movement he showed against an elite heavyweight. His reaction underlined the obvious skill gap and reinforced why stepping into the ring with someone like AJ was always a dangerous gamble. Ryan Garcia also reacted to the Anthony Joshua vs. Jake Paul fight on X, sharing his view. He said, "I think Gervonta would have done him worse," suggesting Davis's skill and power would have posed a far tougher challenge than Paul. As the boxing world continued buzzing over the fight's result, offering controversy followed. Analyst Fannin claimed there is a real possibility that Gervonta Davis could file a defamation lawsuit against Jake Paul, stemming from Paul allegedly accusing Davis of mistreating a girl. Fannin strongly insisted the accusation is false, calling it ground
and real possibility of Gervonta Davis filing a lawsuit against Jake Paul for defamation. A very, very real and possible thing. Jake Paul could be responsible for defamation against Gervonta Davis. I absolutely believe that to be the case. That's because Jake Paul said that he saw a videotape where Gervonta Davis punched a girl in her face. There's no testimony by anybody at all that Gervonta Davis did that. The girl herself is not accusing him of that. The videotape that somebody in the media said that they saw, a journalist said that they were given a copy to, or they were shown a copy of, didn't say it showed anything about Gervonta Davis punching the girl or hitting the girl. It was just that the person categorized it as it looking as if Gervonta was forcing her to leave the club. So basically, she was...
Multiple voices from the boxing world and online reacted strongly, showing a mix of respect and shock. Chris Eubank Jr. wrote on X that regardless of the outcome, Jake Paul stepped into the ring with an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight world champion and fought until the end. He said Paul deserves respect for attempting what most would never do and for not giving up. Adding humor, KSI posted his reaction on X, joking about waking up to the news of Jake Paul getting knocked out and laughing at the result.
Don't mind me, just smoking on that Jake Paul pack. Honestly, Jake Paul, trash. Tommy Fury, trash.
Chris Mannix summed up his disbelief with a simple reaction, calling the moment horrifying. Despite the loss, Jake Paul still earned respect from some legendary fighters. Former world champion Antonio Tarver commented on YouTube that Paul performed admirably against Anthony Joshua. Tarver pointed out that Paul survived all 6 rounds and didn't make it an easy night for AJ, noting that many fighters would have been knocked out much earlier. According to Tarver, lasting against an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight champion shows serious preparation and resilience. Veteran voice Larry Merchant.
Antonio Tarver after another big fight. Jake Paul stopped by Anthony Joshua tonight. What did you make of it?
I expected it. AJ looked like he was putting that pressure on, but credit to Jake Paul. He didn't make it easy, bro. He wasn't no sitting duck. You know, he got on his footwork, used his ring, was moving a lot, and he landed some shots. So hats off to Jake Paul, but he was in there surviving, and he didn't make it easy for AJ. But AJ landed that right hand. I knew it was over after that.
Why did it take so long, do you think?
Oh, Jake Paul wasn't a sitting duck. You know, he was putting his mind to the game, but just didn't have enough in his bag. He just, like I said, he got to get those lessons and evolve more as a fighter. You know,
you want to see him continue?
Yeah, he's going to continue, of course. Just got to pick him right, bro, and give yourself a chance. You know what I mean? I think he was just biting off a little bit more than he could chew tonight. You know, his aspirations was a little bit far out.
I think AJ could have got it done a bit quicker.
I mean, I think he was in there to do it, but like I say, Jake didn't make it easy, bro. It's hard to hit somebody when they moving, especially the way he was moving lateral, just, you know, circling. So he had to catch up with him, He hit him with a couple body shots.
An International Boxing Hall of Fame inductee, delivered one of the harshest takes on X. He claimed Anthony Joshua should feel embarrassed, arguing that the performance damaged AJ's legacy while crediting Jake Paul as a smart businessman. He questioned Joshua's commitment to boxing, suggesting Paul understood the moment better. On the medical side, Dr. Brian Sutter weighed in on Jake Paul's fractured jaw, explaining the long-term risks such as pain, difficulty eating, and possible complications if not treated correctly. He warned that repeated injuries like this could seriously impact Paul's future ability to compete. Nakisa Bidarian shared an emotional response following the fight, saying she was heartbroken but proud of Jake Paul despite the brutal knockout.
I'll admit I watched the fight pretty boring in the first half before AJ finally turned it on and we got the outcome that we all expected. After the fight, though, Jake told Ariel Helwani that he was worried that he had broke his jaw. He said multiple times he was concerned that he had a fractured jaw. And certainly looking at this knockout punch that Anthony Joshua delivers, it is absolutely a possibility that Jake does in fact have a jaw fracture. I'd honestly be more concerned about a concussion. In fact, with most jaw fractures, the more important thing initially is to look for other injuries to the head, to the neck, to the airway. The jaw fracture potentially being there or not is going to be lower on the list often than whether there's damage to the airway, damage to the head. And so very possible to have a concussion or some residual symptoms from this, as Jake Paul's head is relatively still here. We see AJ comes in with that right, and that sudden, quick, violent rotation of the head is going to transmit a lot of rotational force, not only through the brain, but also through the brainstem, absolutely leading to possibility of a concussion. Thankfully, it didn't completely knock him out, but could absolutely result in some delayed symptoms. But you can see where the punch comes in, landing square on that left side of Paul's face. Jake's reaction was pretty telling too. Right away after it, we could see him going down on the canvas here and being very shocked. It doesn't look like there's any obvious deformity to the jaw. We won't necessarily always see a deformity to the jaw, but you could tell he clearly had realized that something serious had happened there and feeling the full power of AJ's right. And finally, on this last view, we can see a little bit better the exact location where the punch comes in. We'll talk about our jaw anatomy, the different areas of the bones, but your temporomandibular joint, where your jaw articulates.
Lost to Anthony Joshua. She stated that Paul delivered his best performance under extreme pressure, facing one of the most elite heavyweights in boxing history. Her reaction reflected the feelings of many fans who were disappointed by the outcome but still respected Paul's courage and commitment. Anthony Joshua himself addressed the result and the public reaction. He said Jake Paul deserves criticism for going.
I'm just happy he's safe. I've always been proud of him. I speak constantly from the rooftops to mountaintops with my car when I'm moving in the street. Respect Jake Paul. That was the #1 trending thing on Twitter about an hour ago. Respect to Jake Paul. So I'm just thrilled.
With how it went tonight, obviously you guys came in here and you actually did, like, deluded or not what people will say, people believed that Jake Paul could do something crazy tonight. Did you truly believe from the beginning that he might pull it off?
So he 100% believed unequivocally that he was going to win, and I talked about that with him, afterwards when he was getting showered up. He knew it was high risk, high reward. He had to land something big, but he felt like he could. My view was it was going to be very hard, but it could happen, right? And there was moments in that fight where I was like, holy shit, this kid's getting him a little bit. So, when I spoke about no matter what happens, he won.
Going 6 rounds against an elite boxer, but also admitted there was little Paul could realistically do given the massive gap in experience and skill. Joshua balanced accountability with recognition of Paul's effort, showing an understanding of how complex public opinion can be in high-profile fights. Boxing commentator Wade Plemons offered a blunt assessment of Anthony Joshua's performance. In a video reaction,
How do you feel?
I feel good. How do I feel? I feel good.
People will criticize you for going 6 rounds with Jake Paul. How do you feel about that?
I deserve it.
Why? Come on.
Because, we're elite fighters. So I put myself in the shoes of a coach. If I was coaching Anthony Joshua and he went 6 rounds with Jake Paul, I would get him back in the gym tomorrow, give him a bit of a beating, and we're getting straight back to work, because I'll be like, how are you letting this kid take you 6 rounds? Are you crazy? But I can't go back in time.
He was elusive though. He made himself a small target. You decided to take your time in there with him.
Yeah, so if you listen back to the interview I done with MVP and Netflix, I said, in boxing, there's a time when you systematically break someone down and you see their soul leaving their body. And after a period of time, 2 things start to happen to them. Either they give up or they get knocked out. And there was a bit of a mix. I broke Jake's jaw,
His teeth look a bit removed as well.
Yeah, his teeth have come out of place. But credit to him, he done well. But I told him what was going to happen, but it just took 6 rounds to do that. And I swear to you, yeah. So I'm going to tell you this. Listen to everything I say. I watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and there was a game where someone said to him, they didn't say hi to him, and he said to them, all right.
Boxing commentator Wade Plemons delivered a blunt assessment of Anthony Joshua's performance, stating in a video reaction that he said AJ still deserves criticism, arguing that Joshua didn't look as sharp as expected even after training with Usyk's camp. Plemons pointed out flat footwork and lack of sharpness, suggesting improvement was needed despite the win. His comments sparked debate among fans and analysts, reinforcing the idea that victory alone doesn't always meet elite expectations. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned.